Hello, I'm Terry David Mulligan. This is the Mulligan Stew Podcast, number 301, 302, somewhere in there. We're over 300, I know that. We've hit that bump. The guest is Afie Jurvanen, Bahamas. We met in 2015. He walked his way through East Vancouver, tough district, to Roundhouse Radio. He and his wife and their daughter in a stroller. And I thought, that's the first time I've seen anybody in this business walk in with a stroller and a baby. Fantastic. I loved it. I loved the fact that his family was with him. We had a great conversation, and we've kept in touch since then. And I've just loved the way his career has blossomed and opened up, and he's become big time. He has really earned his place because he comes through with the songs and the passion and the heartfelt emotions. And his honesty is brilliant. His humor is brilliant. Fantastic. We're going to do this conversation. He's at home in Halifax. You'll see him turn away from, well, you won't. On the video, you'll see him turn away from the camera to talk to his daughter, who's teaching herself how to skateboard in the driveway. And she's asking for socks and boots and helmets and things. Love that. Here's a guy who is basically a roots singer-songwriter, Americana, goes into Nashville and comes out with an album called Bootcut. Turns everything upside down, and Rolling Stone magazine says, here's a young Canadian indie guy who comes into Nashville and makes the best country record of the year. I'm going to play you these tracks, okay? Somebody Just Like Me, the only one, the last track on the album, Nothing Blows My Mind, Gone Girl Gone, and I'm Still. Those are the tracks. Enjoy this conversation and watch for him. We put the tour dates on our website, mulliganstew.ca, the podcast. The tour dates are there. If he comes anywhere near you, no matter where you happen to be listening to us, go see Afie Jurvanen, Bahamas, especially if you live in Finland. Hi, Afie. How are you?
I'm very good. Nice to see you.
Listen, I rarely start with tour dates, but because there's so much else to talk about, but it's really important. Alberta awaits you. Vancouver on the 19th. That's and a week today, the 20th, you're in Victoria, very close to me, 20 minutes away. And then Kelowna, nice. And then Edmonton on Tuesday the 23rd, and Calgary the 24th.
I'm good with it all, and I can guarantee you a quality product. It'll come fresh off the factory floor. If the customers show up, they'll leave satisfied. Couldn't be more thrilled to go on the road. I haven't played since October, so it's be the first show back.
You know, one of the thrills, because I'm locked in a studio and I don't get to go places, and that's okay. I've done that. I truly have enjoyed the journey you've taken me on from the first time we saw each other at Roundhouse Radio in 2016, because everything that's happened since then, everything has just been another chapter in a book.
It's true. The book of life. The book of music.
Book of music. Yeah. I was thinking that when you did those sessions for volumes 1 and 2 for the live to tape, and you were working with those Nashville cats along the way, did the idea pop into your head that we should do a Nashville country album?
Absolutely. And that was the catalyst for the whole thing. We only worked together for that one day, and I just enjoyed it so much that the wheels started turning, and I thought, geez, I mean, that was so good. How good would it be if I could actually get down to Nashville and work with these people in person and do a full album of new material, you know? So yeah, that was kind of the start of it. And so I wrote a lot of songs with them in mind and thinking of recording there with those musicians. And it wasn't necessarily like, okay, I want to make a country album. It was more about wanting to go there and work with those people. And of course, they, have worked so much in country music that it sort of just naturally sort of moved the songs in that direction, you know, the recordings anyway.
If you wanted any filigree, any flourishes, did you have to order it up?
Never. Well, maybe I shouldn't say never, but very rarely. I mean, I've been very blessed for many years, whether it's Nashville or LA or my band that comes on the road with me. I'm surrounded by incredibly talented musicians that are far more talented than I am. And in my experience, music is no different than the rest of life. It's like you want to just surround yourself with talented people and then let them do the best work
Yeah.
possible. As soon as you start to get in there and start, well, it'd be kind of cool if you did this and this and this, it's like, then they're relying less on their musical instinct and they're trying to, chase something that is in your musical mind. And that can work and has worked for me, but more often than not, it's best to just stay quiet and let people figure it out on their own. If there is a problem, a musical problem, when you're working with really talented people, I find they usually find the answer. Even if it takes like 1 or 2 takes longer, they'll figure it out. And it's much more satisfying when somebody solves their own problem, using their own skills and merits.
Starting out, I had no idea how this would end. To know I'd meet the woman of my dreams, but fall in love with her best friend. Lord knows we all make mistakes, and I'll admit I made a few. But every twist and turn along the way only led me here to you. You know that's true, yes you do. In all I do, always do for you, always be true. Years passed by and yes, time moved on, and as my hair began to gray, life got harder as it does for us all, and I swear she never aged a day. Our family grew and she was all alone. I was working most all the time. Told myself that we were doing fine. I only told myself a lie. Always moving and she got no rest. She seemed to shoulder any load. Loving me can be no easy test when the rubber meets the road. What happened next, no one could know. Some say it wasn't meant to be, to go back to where it all began and live our life out by the sea. You know that's true, yes you do. In all I do, always stand by you, always be true. Anyone here can see my face, anyone can hear me sing. She's the only one that holds my heart, the only one who wears my ring.
Here's the thing I like about your music, Afie. They're all from different worlds. All of the people that you play with have their own lives, and they come from, and they have their own influences, but they hear what you're saying. They hear what you're playing, the music that they're bringing. They get it. It's a collective, and they all have different needs and ears and thoughts and growth. They all get it. That's the best part about it. Is you right in a room by yourself, and then all of a sudden it becomes a message. It becomes a means for you to speak to the world in general. I may be making too much of the whole process, but I'm fascinated by it.
Well, that's sweet of you to say, very flattering, and I appreciate that. I think, yeah, I'm maybe repeating myself, but I do give a lot of credit to the musicians. I mean, the thing I work on the most is the songs. I try and,
Oh yeah,
I really do approach it as a craft. I try and work on the lyrics, try and tighten them up so they're the strongest they can be. By the time we get into the studio, they've in most cases, they've been picked over and worked over, and I've discarded a lot of verses that I thought were great the week before or whatever. So ideally, we show up to the studio with the strongest material. And then, yeah, maybe a sort of a crude analogy, but it's sort of like handing great ingredients. If you can hand really fresh ingredients to a chef, it's very difficult to make mistakes. You know what I mean? It's like if you give great quality stuff to a great chef, then they're probably going to serve you something delicious.
There you go. Thank you.
And so, yeah, I try and think of music the same way. It's just if you go in with something that just doesn't feel right, feels unfinished, the idea doesn't feel realized, or maybe the idea is just a weak idea. There's not enough there for a song. If you try to sort of squeeze juice out of that lemon, oftentimes I just find it's quite bitter, and you're not interested,
Who did you listen to? Did you have time to go back and do a little country history and reconnect with some of the great voices and songwriters in country?
I mean, the three that I listened to the most, even just sort of constantly, whether I was thinking about this album or not, are Don Williams.
Yep.
I just love the way those albums are recorded. They're just like a lot of country music, just so clean. There's no attempt to muddy the waters, like in pop music or indie music. There's oftentimes you're trying to distort things and obscure things. And when you listen to a Don Williams record or a Vince Gill record, there's just so much clarity in each instrument. And so that was something I was really interested in. But yeah, a lot of Vince Gill, a lot of Don Williams, and Alan Jackson. I just love the tunes that he sings, just because he incorporates a lot of humor and irony into the songs. And I think country music is a genre that sort of in many ways celebrates those tools that as a writer, they're fun to use. It's harder to use humor in, pop music, or people sort of shy away from that. But in country music, they almost kind of welcome it. So you can use it as a powerful sort of tool to move the narrative along,
And you can say there are truths said in humor, as you well know.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Don Williams, Alan Jackson, and who's the third?
And Vince Gill.
Vince Gill.
Vince Gill, I think, he's just, again, his recordings are just so clean. Great songwriter, fantastic guitar player who, and not to name drop, but he did play guitar a little bit on this album. And that was a big thrill for me to have him be a part of it.
Any of the ladies?
Well, I do love Lucinda Williams quite a bit. I like Shania Twain a lot. My daughters like Shania Twain, so we listen to that a fair bit. But yeah, it wasn't a project where I felt like I needed to do any research. I just sort of, this is music that's been part of my life.
Here's where it really works for me. I got to tell you, you didn't ask, I'm going to tell you. I love the way it opens with just a song. I love that. Love that. Because you could have written that in any time space. Working on my guitar, the same thing. Lovely. Perfect. I love the way somebody just like me, that pedal steel drops in there in the third track. You've already hooked us. We're already into it. We're already listening. Boom. That steel guitar just cuts straight through it. All of it.
Well, yeah, Russ Paul on the steel guitar and just does such a great job. I mean, he's played on so many albums. So again, he just sort of knows, when to lay into it. That's an instrument that once you kind of turn it on, it's very difficult to turn it off. It's sort of like a B3 organ. It's like, once it's in, it's in, and it really sort of has the power to take over the whole mix,
Think about it with an open mind. If you do, I think you might find there's no need to be so unkind to someone with a bad idea. I know that we're beating the odds just by being alive. Not saying we should break any laws. I ain't afraid of nothing, 'cause I know I got nothing to hide. You might say, oh, it's stuck in my way. You might be somebody just like me. If all the news that I read is free, I can make my own reality. 1 and 1 could never make 3, but they tell me that the times have changed. I know that we're beating the odds just by being alive. Not saying we should break any laws. I ain't afraid of nothing, 'cause I know I got nothing to hide. You might say, oh, it's stuck in my ways. You might be somebody just like me.
You're doing these Alberta dates, and of course, Alberta is just a hotbed for country, of course, and roots and Americana. You fit in there. I kind of wonder if the country audience will embrace you the way they would somebody all gussied up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm very grateful to have my own audience. You know, I've have my own fans that come to my shows, and they're very generous and kind of allow me to do whatever I want. So I've sort of been describing this album as like a country album for people that don't know they like country music. And, you know, from the touring that we did last year and everything, it feels like, you know, it's been sort of received in the country world. I played at the Grand Ole Opry last year, and that was a real thrill. And, you know, just getting to play with some musicians down there really just, you know, when your peers kind of embrace what you're doing, that for most people, that's the biggest sign of accomplishment or respect, or certainly it is for me, you know, more than any trophies or gold records or anything like that. It's just like having great musicians want to play with you is the greatest validation, you know, so that I'm just humbled by it. And but yeah, I think when we go on tour, especially in Canada, there's you know, I'm very grateful to have people that have been coming to my shows now for 10 plus years, 15 years maybe. And so they've just been there, whether I'm doing pop music or country music or rock and roll or whatever, you know. I've done tours with just a drummer where it was like a White Stripes thing, and then I've done tours solo, and I've done tours with a band, and, you know, so it's as a performer, I feel very grateful, and it just feels very luxurious to be able to go out and do kind of whatever I want, you know.
Where's your family from originally, and the roots back, grandfather, great grandfathers?
Well, my mother's family is all Finnish. She's from Finland. She immigrated here in 1970.
Okay.
And I don't know a whole lot about my father's family. My father, you know, left before I was born.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Have you taken the music to Finland?
I haven't. I get asked that question a fair amount, and my mom has 12 brothers and sisters, and they all have kids, and so I have a lot of. Geez, I could probably sell out a small venue just with people who all have the same last name as I do, you know. But no, we've toured a fair amount in Europe, and Finland, unfortunately, is it's kind of like Newfoundland. It's most people consider it part of Scandinavia, but if you actually look on a map, it's quite far north and removed. So just the logistics of a tour, by the time you get to France and Germany and Denmark and Norway and Sweden, it's like a full day of travel to get over to Finland, and we haven't been figured out a way to get over there and play, but I'm sure we will sooner or later. And I'm very grateful to have spent a lot of time there and have been there. I haven't been there with my children yet, but my wife and I went there many years ago, and yeah, just a beautiful place.
Okay.
A lot like where I live now. It's a lot like Nova Scotia. There's rocks and there's trees and there's water and there's not much else.
I could write the greatest tunes. I could be the first one on the moon. I could eat a steak with just a spoon. Still nothing blows my mind. I could be a millionaire. I could climb Rapunzel's hair. I could hear Ringo's snare. Still nothing blows my mind. Nothing blows my mind after being with you. Everything's cold and gray. There's nothing new, but I must let go, 'cause you've passed on. There's nothing bringing you back, not a prayer, not a song. So while I bide my time, nothing blows my mind. I could shoot a hole in one. I could win a marathon run. If my dad somehow said, I love you, son, still nothing blows my mind. Nothing blows my mind after being with you. Everything is cold and gray. There's nothing new, but I must let go, 'cause you've passed on. There's nothing bringing you back, not a prayer, not this song. So while I bide my time, nothing blows my mind. Nothing blows my mind.
Let me see how busy you've been here. I have my sheet in front of me. Bootcut, of course, is out. Repackaged Love Songs is out. I love that.
True.
I love the fact that it's like Snakes on a Plane. The marketing team behind Snakes on a Plane said, this is what the movie's about. It's called Snakes on a Plane, and everybody went.
Yeah.
You got Repackaged Love Songs. That's what you're selling. Repackaged.
That was kind of the title was the only part that I had any involvement in. That was a classic music industry thing where, these guys are always trying to resell you guys the same product, you know, whether it's first they tried with CDs and now they're dealing with streaming, and now we're just trying to. That was around Valentine's Day. I think they put together basically a playlist, you know. Hang on one sec. You got a question, sir? You're going outside? All right, put some socks on before you go out. One of my daughters here is telling me she's going outside, which works well with my Zoom schedule.
Oh, yes. How long have I got?
Yeah. I think I got another 11 minutes or so. I got another thing at 1:30.
11 minutes of your life. There's a song. Yeah. The Bachelor. How did it go for you? Did you like it?
Not terribly, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, those types of things can be exciting just because there's a lot of people around and there's a lot of you know, logistics that go involved in pulling these things off. But it's sort of like. But
the audience that you reached,
Yeah, I don't know. Frankly, I'm totally honest. I have no idea. I know it's a big show, and I'm grateful to be included, but I really can't tell how these things translate. You know, I've been fortunate to play on late night TV and you know, all these other avenues, and I just can't. Is that how people discover music? Because that's not how I do it.
Sure, you get it from the television screen. You get it from the movie screen. You get it from references in books and articles, or the Rolling Stone article saying you're the best thing to happen to country.
Well, yeah.
Easy.
I guess I'm still waiting on that $1 million check, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was that was right at the top of the tour, so there was a lot of flying. You know, we played in Nashville, then we got to fly to LA, and then we fly back to Texas, and so those things then kind of end up in a blur. You sort of, in a way, you try to enjoy them looking backwards because it's very difficult in the moment to have any perspective on what you're doing. But yeah, it's all, you know, the naive part of me just says, you know, all this stuff is just other ways for people just to discover the music. And so if someone's willing to give me a chance to come on their show and play, then of course, you know, I try and say yes more than I say no.
Hear they're sending men back to Mars, so come and find me in some topless bar. Gone girl, gone. Ain't no one loving me for loving's sake. Ain't no one baking me a wedding cake, so you can jump into a frozen lake. Gone girl, gone. Most people just think too much, always talking about such and such. I'm happy being out of touch. Gone girl, gone.
Here's what draws, I think, all of your fans together, and you've actually said the same thing, and that is that you have attracted people who look forward to what you bring to the songs and the stage and the album. They're open to pretty much whatever you're attempting to do, and it seem to accept it. As you've said once, I'm not doing a reggae album, not yet. But,
not yet.
But you could. You're Bowie-esque in that regard. You're open. Another season. Who are you this year? I love that. That's freedom. That's freedom.
Well, it
freedom.
is. It is. It is. And I would encourage, all artists to just, there'll be enough people in the business trying to box you in and,
Sure.
and define you and say, this is what type of artist you are. And I would just encourage people to just avoid doing that to yourself. Just start from the proposition that anything is possible and see where that takes you. I know that's a lofty idea. It sounds very flighty, but yes, sweet. Your helmet is in back near the laundry machine where the recycling is. I'm quite proud of my daughter for she's going skateboarding, comes to ask me where her helmet is first. So that's a parenting win for me right there.
I'm looking for the photo of you sitting in the lobby at Roundhouse Radio, and you wheeled a stroller in. That's probably her.
No, that's my older daughter. I have 3 daughters now,
okay,
but that's my middle daughter. But yes, I do remember that.
It's a great shot.
Fond memories, and I've been lucky to be able to bring my whole family with me on tour a fair bit. And travel all over the place with them. And they're dangerously comfortable in my world. They love the Doritos and the tour bus and all that.
Stop me when you want to talk about a track, because I love Gone Girl Gone. Love that. It's the rocker. It's the AC, the hot AC hit rocker. Everything else is down-tempo. I loved Nothing Blows My Mind as a closing track. Love that, man. You were making a statement there. I love that. I love Just a Song. I love the second time around, the reference to Walking Down the Aisle to a Otis Redding song. What was the song?
I mean, there's an example of just how you can use humor in a song. You take some of this really, really painful idea of divorce and getting remarried and you get the full spectrum there, right? You get your heart broken and then you find love again and all with the same person. And so that seemed to just be a fitting thing to sing about for this record, But I'm happy to say that that's make believe. I'm still happily married.
Wow. The Only One.
Yeah, it's just another love song for my wife.
Trying
to
make up a story so that we can carry it. Never mind. It's okay.
Always trying to impress her. I've never succeeded. But
right.
But yeah, I'm always trying to communicate how grateful I am and how much I love her and how instrumental she is in my life and our family's life. I mean, I really, probably like most people who have children, you realize how dependent you are on each other in a whole new way. And of course, it sounds cliche to say, but I just wouldn't be able to do what I do without her. And, I think and hope that she would feel the same way. And it really just, some people might be fearful of that sort of codependency, but I actually think it's the it's the thing that kind of can allow you to do anything. Is to have a strong partner in life, and I hope that everyone is as lucky as I am to
no,
find
you got
someone
you have to work at it.
You do have to work
Give
at
and
it,
take.
but I just think it's such a great basis for whatever you want to do in life. If you're ambitious in your career or whatever, I can't think of a better thing to have a partner who's there supporting you and facilitating that.
Okay.
You know, so I hope everyone's as lucky.
Have you heard Cowboy Carter? Have you dived into Beyonce's album?
I haven't heard it.
Okay. It's a surprise.
Okay.
It's country. It's all country.
Well, I did know that. I had
Okay.
a lot of people text me.
What she's done with the tunes is quite remarkable. Jolene, especially. Thank you, Afie. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'll cut you loose. I'll get this on CKUA so they can hear you.
Okay. Cheers. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Big problems that don't involve him. Still, he could solve them. But he do what he do, what he do. He makes his own facts. He don't sign contracts. He don't pay back tax. He just do what he do, what he do. If it just feels right, you want that limelight to have no stage fright. Just do what you do. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm still wise beyond my years. I'm still going it alone. I'm still trying to hold my own. I got this hunger to change my number and move down under. But I do what I do, what I do. I'm feeling stuck here. There's nothing new here. I need some new gear. But I do what I do, what I do. You let me babble till I unravel. We used to travel. Now I do what I do, what I do. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm still wise beyond my years. I'm still going it alone. I'm still trying to hold my own. I laugh at bad jokes. I hold in harsh tokes. I come from poor folk who just do what they do, what they do. Do I need rehab? 'Cause I ain't been that bad. My life ain't so sad. I just do what I do, what I do. Don't count my calories. Don't ask my salary. Won't pay no dowry. I just do what I do, what I do. I'm still wet behind the ears. I'm still wise beyond my years. I'm still going it alone. I'm still trying to hold my own. Thank